I don't think I've ever really appreciated Labor Day until this year, but I get to hang out with my kids tomorrow and not send them to school, so I'm quite excited about it. Somebody remind me to change my alarm for tomorrow morning, because that'd be annoying. We are going to celebrate Jesus with communion after the message today, so I'll just explain that for anybody who hasn't done that with us. So we'll have two guys on this side, two guys on this side that are going to be up here. They're going to be holding a couple of things. So one guy will be holding a plate that has bread in it, and so you'll grab the piece of bread, and that man will tell you, this is Christ's body that's been broken for you. So you'll just take it, hold it, walk to the next person in that line, and that guy will be holding a cup. And you'll dip your bread inside the cup. There's juice in there, and that man will say, this is Christ's blood that was shed for you. So once you've dipped your piece of bread in there, you'll eat it, and that's how we celebrate communion. Communion is a reminder for us every single time we take it to remember that this is a common ground that we stand on, right? None of us came to Christ as a good person. Not a single one of us. We came to him as broken, very sinful, very wicked people. And he said that he loved us anyways, and he saved us from that sin. So the way that he offers that salvation is because he paid the price for our sin on the cross himself, when his body was broken for us, where he shed his blood for us, so that he could wash the sin away from us when he took it on himself on the cross. So when we celebrate communion, we remember that that was the price of our salvation, and that we have common ground, that none of us get to stand in self-righteousness. We stand only in the righteousness of Jesus Christ. And so we take communion to remember that, and to remind us to go and share the gospel, but also to humble us and help us to remember that only Jesus makes us good. So as if you need to take time during this message, just ignore me for a little bit. If there's things in your life that you're like, hey, I've really not been living in a way that remembers the cross of Christ, take time and deal with that. Confess it. Talk to Christ about it. Tell him what's going on. Ask for forgiveness for this. Walk in repentance of that. And as you deal with that, then that gets you in a proper place to come to Jesus and take communion and say, thank you so much for forgiving me of this sin. So that's our communion. We'll be doing that in a little bit. I want to start this off. So we're going to finish up Revelation chapter 17 today. So it's taken me 3 weeks. Like I said, at the beginning of this, I thought I could get all of 17 in 1 week. And I'm glad I didn't try because we've gone long, I think, every week so far of this. So that would have been a probably 3-hour-long message. So we're going to finish up chapter 17 today, but I want to ask you a question. Anyone in here, have you ever been on who's played sports? Anybody in here? Yeah? All right. Anybody in here played a sport where your teammates competed with you more than they competed with the other team? Anybody done? Yeah? Yeah. Has anybody in here, this is just personal to me, anybody coached soccer, kids soccer? God bless you. That's a calling or a penalty, right? Or a punishment, yeah. So I started coaching a while ago. I got to coach a couple of Sully. Actually, I think my first time I coached Jude's team. He played one season and didn't like it, thank Jesus. And so then I had a nice long break, and then Sully, he's a great soccer player. So I coached for a while, but I got lucky with Sully. My younger brother wanted to coach with me, and so at the first little while, I was the head coach while he was my assistant coach, and I did nothing. He did everything. It was awesome because he is a great soccer player, and I was like, this is awesome. Then Sully started playing select travel stuff, and that's beyond my abilities, and so my younger brother continues to coach him. So I was like, okay, well, this is a chance for me to coach Crockett, and so I've gotten to coach Crockett a few seasons now, yeah, that's been so much fun. Last season, I saw this more than any other season. I had several kids on the team. They would rather lose the game than pass the ball. Anybody ever seen that? I mean, I'm not kidding at all. They would absolutely, if they could lose the game 1 to 65, but they were the one that scored the 1 point, they won, right? They didn't care about the team. It's I won this one. I scored the one goal, so I win. I don't care about the team. And that happens so much in soccer. good thing we grow out of that as adults, right? We don't struggle with that at all. Once you hit like 16, 17, you're like, I'm not going to be selfish anymore. I want everybody to win. Oh, but maybe it's like 20, 30, 40, 50. Ken, does it happen at 75? Today we're going to study a passage that shows us this is the culture of the world that we live in. So if you'll turn with me to Revelation chapter 17, we're going to talk about the great city. And that is a wild title to this. And this is what the Bible calls this, is the great city, the culture of the world that we live in. And we're going to see what this great city really looks like. So Revelation chapter 17, we're starting verse 15. And the angel said to me, the waters that you saw where the prostitute is seated are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. Okay, so the angel is about to explain to John the truth of culture. This represents the span of this woman's influence. And this woman, we'll discover this very assuredly inside of this passage. But this woman, Babylon, the great prostitute, represents culture of the world. She reigns over these, and she's enthroned on them. Are the people of the world unified today? Okay, let's go smaller. So the world's not unified. Are the people of America unified today? Huh. Are the people of Tennessee unified today? Okay. People of Cleveland? What about just here? Are we unified? Somewhat? We like to find ways to divide ourselves, don't we? We love it. We'll invent new ways to divide ourselves all the time. Throughout history, we've invented more ways to find division than we found ways to be unified. So we're going to talk about this for a minute. So this passage talked about this several different groupings of people, and we're going to explain them. The first one, he says, she rules over all peoples. So this combines all groupings of humanity that are possible. So any people group at all. No matter what you've divided, no matter how you divided yourselves out, no matter how you split yourselves up, this is saying all you peoples. So this should be enough for us, right? This should be enough to say that she rules over, the culture rules over all peoples. That would be enough. But there are still some of us who will say that we don't belong because of reasons, right? Well, yeah, you're saying she rules over people, but I'm not people like their people. I'm a different kind of people, right? So then John continues. Multitudes. This is the Greek word oklos. This is a crowd, a mass, numbered people, or camp followers. Do we have camp followers in our culture today? Yes, we do. Okay, so I'm a people. I'm a people, but I'm not a people like you're a people. Do we see this today where we have people that say, like, sure, there's people in the world, and maybe I'm a people, but I should be separated from everybody else because I'm special for this reason? Do we have special syndrome in culture today? Yes, we do. I'm a human, but not like you're a human because I'm a better human. We divide these multitudes, these crowds, these masses, these camp followers into all kinds of things. From religion, like, well, I'm Christian, or I'm Buddhist, or I'm atheist, or I'm whatever. We divide people out by struggles or strengths. Do we divide by politics? I don't think we do that much anymore, do we? We divide by all these things. And so, again, what John's saying is, yeah, all peoples, okay, also, inside of all peoples, all of you people who think you're different from other people because of whatever factor that is, yes, even you and all of your people are ruled by Babylon, ruled by culture. All nations, so this is the Greek word ethnos, groupings of people who identify with a regional location or common ancestry. Okay, so again, we'd like to divide ourselves out. So all people, all multitudes, all nations, all ethnos. So some people will say, yeah, okay, I'm human, I'm people. And yes, we're both conservative, so we're the same in our one subgroup. But I'm Argentinian, so you're not the same as me. Right? We'll say, or I'm from Cleveland, and I'm born and raised here. You moved here recently. You're not the same as me. It's true. John knew there'd be people who would say that, right? John knew there'd be people who would say, yeah, well, these people that are living around me, yeah, they're the same as me in a few ways, but very different than me in this way, so they're not the same. And John says, yeah, that's fine. Still you. Every ethnical group on earth that is not living in the kingdom of God is a subject to the kingdom of the world, a slave to the kingdom of the world, and they are ruled by culture. To every nation and every language. So glossai, all methods of speech and dialect. Okay, here's what I love. All peoples, that's everybody. So that should have been enough, but Jesus knows that we struggle with accepting that we belong to everybody. Because, yeah, everybody but me. I don't struggle there. All peoples, all multitudes, so no matter what subgroup I belong to, that's me. All nations, all ethnical groups, and all languages. Here's the great thing about this. When John wrote this book, this letter, what language was he speaking? Anybody know? Huh? He spoke Hebrew and he wrote it in Greek, right? Who in here speaks Koine Greek that was spoken 2,000 years ago? A little bit, yeah. Thank you, Brian. It's not easy to speak. Who here speaks modern day Greek? Oh, Crockett. Man, you are surprising me. That's interesting. I didn't know that was second grade learning now. Who in here can speak Old English? No, way before King James. Way before. Did you know that if we were speaking Old English right now, if somebody came in here speaking that, you would not understand 99% of what they said if you got any of it? Does language change over time? Yes. Who in here has a Gen Alpha in your home? Anybody have any of those? I've got a couple of them. Anybody heard the word skibbity toilet? Oh, only a couple laughs. Okay, that helps you understand where we're at. If you haven't, thank Jesus right now. Just say, thank you, Jesus, that I've not had to experience this terminology. There's a new language that's being developed. And if you'd like to learn it, talk to Crockett. He would love to tell you all about it. Sully could tell you some, but he's more offended by it than Crockett is. Crockett actually enjoys this. So here's what Jesus is telling us through all languages. Not only all people, not only all subgroups, not only all ethnicities, all people from every time. Because language changes over time. So what he's saying is it doesn't matter that you didn't live back then. It doesn't matter that I'm not a part of the youngest generation now. It doesn't matter if I think that the older generation or the younger generations are better or worse than mine. All generations, all languages that are not subject to Jesus are subject to culture. Period. They are ruled by culture. Now, thinking of generations and culture, who in here has, what's the best way to ask this? Old people in the room. Just identify yourselves. That's fine. I won't identify you. Sometimes that's me. Do you look at younger generations and think they are worse than when I grew up? Young generations, young people in the room. Do you look at old people and think they're the worst? Okay. Most generations do this, right? You know what's funny is, as divided as generations can be, who rules rules these generations according to this passage? Culture. Even though your generation may feel like it's better than the one that's currently running things, it was still ruled by culture, which led it to evil things. All right, let's keep reading. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. Okay, remember, so we saw this in chapter 17, verse 12. These refer to 10 kings, and we talked about this relates to this rulers in the world today. So culture runs the world. Even leaders follow culture. What's the quickest way to not get elected again in America? Don't follow culture, right? You can do a bad job. You can be a bad politician and get reelected, right? If you fit culturally in the area that you're in. You can be a bad politician, maintain your job by serving culture. This is what the Bible is telling us. These kings are there. They're ruling alongside this woman. So culture rules, and kings rule alongside culture by saying, we're going to support culture. They and the beast will hate the prostitute. So they're filled with hatred against this woman, the great prostitute, Babylon, culture. They will turn against the economic and religious censors of their society. Babylon is a prostitute because of her idolatrous devotion to false gods. So these rulers that have been following culture, they're eventually going to turn against and hate culture. Do we see this happen today? Do we see people devote themselves to the culture they live in? Absolutely. Do we see people serve culture even if they disagree with it? Yes. Do we see people after they have served culture, devoted themselves to it, turn around and then say they hate it? Yes. Do we see people that serve their culture, then blame it for every problem they have? Yes. This is already happening today. It has been happening for a long time, and it will happen at the end of times. They will make her desolate and naked, and devour her flesh, and burn her up with fire. For God has put it in their hearts to carry out this purpose, his purpose, by being of one mind, and handing over their royal power to the beast, until the words of God are fulfilled. All right. Culture offers food to sustain us, right? That's what it offers. Is that food helpful to us? Typically, no. Let's make this a little easier to see. Who in here enjoys sweet things? Anybody got a sweet tooth? Okay. Who in here likes candy? All right. Can you survive eating only candy? For a while. Anybody want to see how long? You can for a while, right? Will it be good for you? No. If we make a meal out of our culture, if that's what feeds us and fills us and sustains us, that would be like eating candy for every meal, every day, for as long as you can live. It will leave you feeling terrible and empty and unsustained and unfulfilled. But does culture say, hey, come consume, we're candy, we're bad for you? Do they advertise that way? No. They advertise as if they're the most wholesome meal on earth. Come and eat. This is so good for you. This will make you a better human. This will make you feel so happy. This is going to give you fulfillment. It promises a full belly. But it will leave you hungry, and actually the opposite will happen. It actually empties you. When you consume culture as your identity, when you consume culture as your leader as your ruler, as the one who reigns over you, especially if you are a Christian who truly has a different ruler in your life who is Jesus. When you consume culture for your identity and for your fulfillment, you will be emptied of what you're supposed to have inside of you. So as these people, as the world, as they consume culture, they break it. Do people still break the culture they live in today? Yeah, because people are terrible, right? People are awful. We commit ourselves to things and then we break them because we struggle. To bring this into the church, does this happen in the church? Do people come into the church and mess it up? Every single one of you did already this morning. We mess things up. Thank Jesus, we are unified in something greater than culture. We get to find unity in what we celebrate this afternoon, which is the cross of Jesus Christ, right? That's permanent, and we can't mess it up. That's wonderful. The problem with culture is that we can mess it up. It's not perfect, and there's nothing eternal about it. So these people, they commit themselves to culture. They feed on it. They love it. They look at it and think it's beautiful, and then they break it. Are people breaking culture right now? Are they committed to it and then making it awful? Do parts of our culture seem good? Yeah. Can the parts that seem good also bring destruction? Yes. Okay. They will devour her flesh. So that's the thing. These people are committed to culture. But then they mess it up. Even though they love it, even though they've devoted themselves to it, they break it and then they hate it. They blame it for problems. And then they devour it. I think this is when people turn on the very team they said they were committed to. They commit themselves to culture, they consume, they eat, they feel empty, they feel broken, they blame, and then they look at everybody else they're on the same team with and they say, this is your fault. Does this happen today? Yes. We see this all the time. After consuming culture, after consuming ourselves, we'll blame the very culture that we devoted ourselves to, right? Then we throw fire and say, that's the problem. We could make this all kinds of things, but let's just look at denominations and focus on this side of it. Can people be overly committed to a denomination? Are some people Baptist before they're Christian? Yes. Is that a good thing? No. Again, I'm just going to pick on us because that hopefully I won't offend too many other people. If you're Baptist before you're anything else, if that's the main identity, can the Baptist denomination fail you? Yes, it can fail you. Can a church fail you? Yes, a local body can fail you. Well, if you're consuming, and that's what you are, that's the culture you've bought into, because that's cultural, right? If that's the culture that you've said you're tied to. You say, I'm Baptist, that's who I am, that's my main identity. And then something happens, and let's just say the Baptist denomination goes off the charts and does something that you absolutely 100% disagree with. And your church follows. What have you lost? Your main identity, right? You've lost this identity of saying, that's who I am. Who are you going to blame for that? Every Baptist you can find, right? And so blame them, and then you're going to blame that very culture. You're going to say, that's the worst culture I've ever seen in my life. They turned, they went and did this thing. I hate the church, I hate God, I hate all this stuff because they failed me. They're the worst, they're awful. That's one picture of this happening, right? You commit yourself so fully to a culture that it becomes your identity, It becomes your sustenance. And when it fails you, you're going to hate it. You're going to blame everyone around you. And then you're going to burn it with fire as you walk away from it. And then commit yourself to a different culture that will do the same thing to you. Which God has put it in their hearts. Okay. That can be a tough passage. If you want to read this week, Isaiah chapter 10, just all of chapter 10, we see that Assyria fulfills God's will by attacking Israel while clearly doing what it wants to do. So the people want to do it, and they accomplish God's will. Do people do bad things today? That was not a very sure answer. Do people do bad things today? Yes. Okay. Do you guys do bad things? Does God want you to do bad things? Does God want other people to do bad things to you? Is God in control? Somebody make sense of that. Tough, right? Here's what I think this is telling us, and I think it happens. These people turn on culture. Was culture back then, and is culture today, evil at least to some degree? Yeah, absolutely. Were they searching for sustenance and found emptiness? Yes. Are we today looking for sustenance from culture and finding emptiness? Is hating culture, at least the evil parts of it, just? Yeah, that's a just thing, right? There's justice in saying that's not good. So we're just in hating it. Are we doing the right thing with our actions every time we hate culture? No. All right, so I want to break this down just a little bit more. Who in here desires mercy for yourself? You guys must live really well if you don't desire mercy. Right? Anybody in here needed mercy in the past 2 weeks? Me too. Who in here likes when you see other people receive justice? Oh, come on. There's somebody you don't like, right? Justice. Is mercy good? Is justice good? Is my application of justice and mercy always good? No. God will put godly desires for justice or mercy into ungodly people who will pursue that in ungodly ways. So God's not putting an ungodly desire in somebody, but he will accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And sometimes what he'll use is my very desire for mercy to have me chase after, or he will put my desire for mercy inside of me. And sometimes I will abuse that and refuse to run away from sin. Will God still use that to do good things? Yes, he will. Sometimes God might put a desire in me, and especially in the world, and let's talk about culture in general. Does culture today say that they're pursuing justice? It's one of the key words, right? Man, they're absolutely in pursuit of justice. Does culture always pursue real justice? No. But even in this desire to pursue justice, God will still use the wrong things they do to accomplish his will on earth, to carry out his purpose. What is God's purpose on earth? We know this from Peter's letter: to bring lost people to salvation and to make believing people holy. Right? That's what God's purpose on earth is, right? God's desire for the world is to bring lost people to salvation and to produce holiness inside of those saved people. Has our devotion to culture brought holiness or terrible things into our lives? Usually terrible things, right? When we devote ourselves to it. What is God's purpose in allowing culture to bring terrible things into our lives? are good. I devote myself to something that's other than God, and I receive bad consequences for it. Does God want me just to say, okay, I give up, I'm done, I failed, I'm finished? No. God wants that pain, that struggle, that loss to help me look at him and say, you were where I should have been placing all of this effort. Everything else has failed me, especially when I've devoted myself to it. It's failed. The only constant in the entire universe is God. So God's purpose in allowing culture to fail us is that we would say, that will never actually work. If my main identity is an American, is a Baptist, is a whatever, all of these people groups, subgroups of people, will fail us. The reason they fail us is so that it would say, okay, this will never work. Every grouping of people, every cultural thing I've chased has always failed. I need something better than culture. What's better than culture? God. Being of one mind. Is the culture, we've already talked about some, but is the culture of our world united? Do all cultures say, hey, we're all the same and equal and good, let's just all get along? No. But this says they're of one mind. How are all cultures, all peoples of one mind? Because if you are not submitted to Jesus Christ, you are united by one faith. I believe this firmly. Other than placing your faith in Jesus Christ, I believe there is one other religion that truly exists. Now, it manifests in other ways, but there's one other one. Self-worship. You worship yourself. Now, you might practice it by doing other things. You might practice giving devotion to other gods, but it is for a self-serving purpose, which makes it still self-worship. That's the unifying part of every culture on earth. All cultures are going to promote worship of yourself. Devotion to culture may seem innocent enough, right? You may think, oh, if I'm devoted to being who I am, I'm here. Let's talk about another cultural devotion. Who in here is a Tennessee Vols fan? Oh, man, that was okay. We got any Georgia fans? Florida? There you go. Stephen, come on. Own up. We won't even talk about Alabama. We can think that being devoted is innocent, right? Can you go too far with your devotion to college football? Wives are nodding stronger in this one. This is good. This is our confession time. Let's own it. Should a college football team have control over how your day goes? Oh man, that hurt some feelings. It shouldn't. Should it control how you treat your spouse? Should it control how you treat your kids? No. Is devotion like that giving too much devotion to something cultural? Yes. It seems innocent enough. But here's the thing. When we devote ourselves to culture, we're practicing the faith of Satan. Self-worship may seem like something that's only internal, but you're saying with your heart that the religion of Satan is greater than faith in God. That's the true depth of sin. So what we're saying is, when we devote ourselves to culture, and we say, I'm chasing that because that's going to give me everything I really want and need. We're saying God can't give me what he said he'd give me. Satan was right that if I chase after it myself and chase me, win. We're saying ultimately, Satan's way is better than God's way. Now, am I saying that you can't look like the culture you belong in? No. Don't be devoted to it. Don't let it have a place of worship in your life. Because it will fail you. It will not sustain you. And only God is worth our worship. So yes, watch Tennessee football. Don't worship it. Yes, sure, come to a Baptist church. Don't worship Baptists. They're not worth it. The only person who deserves a place on the throne in your heart is God. Until the words of God are fulfilled, God is in control. He has already written the end of this story. Even when culture seems to be moving to more evil than we have ever seen, God is using it to draw the lost to salvation and to grow believers in holiness. Let's read this last verse. And the woman that you saw is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth. Okay, so we finally get our main identifier. So Revelation 17:9 told us that the beast and the woman sat on 7 mountains, which pointed us to Rome. Right? We looked at that and saw that Rome was built on or founded on 7 mountains. This again points to Rome for John. Okay, so John would have heard this, especially when he said, "The woman that you saw was or is the great city." Where was John whenever he was writing this? Patmos, right? Exiled. From where? Rome. When he heard the words, "That's the great city," what would he have thought of? Rome. Absolutely, right? Rome represents the city of man, which is opposed to the things of God. Are there cities of man today that are opposed to the things of God? Yes. Are some more so than others? Sure. But even here in Cleveland, Tennessee, are there things inside of our city that are opposed to the things of God? Yes. Calling her Babylon tells us that this transcends time. She is all cultures and cities of the world that oppose God. That's who this woman is. The culture that runs the world. That has dominion over the kings of the earth. Does culture have dominion over the rulers of today? Oh, absolutely. Again, we talked about this, right? Can you be a bad politician and still get reelected? Yes, if you serve the culture you live in. Does culture bring all kinds of evil into our homes? Are there things that are culturally acceptable today that are absolutely sin? Yes. Do we accept them coming into our homes? Sure, because culture says it's okay. Right? This is happening already. It has been happening for thousands of years, and it will happen just before Jesus returns. But what John got to see was the true picture of what culture is. It looks beautiful. It's this woman that's dressed richly and it looks like she has everything to offer. But the truth of what she offers is she's pretending to give you what only God can give. And in the end, you will feel empty and you'll have all kinds of evils brought into your home. You guys bow your heads and close your eyes with me. My first question for you is this. Have you been following culture? More importantly, have you let it have a place of worship inside of your life? Have you devoted yourself to it? Have you expected it to fulfill you? To meet your needs? To give you your identity? Are you still feeling empty because of your pursuit of culture? Will you repent of that and commit yourself to chasing after Jesus instead? Will you share the hope of the gospel to the other people in your life that are starving for it? They've been chasing after salvation from a culture that can never provide salvation. Will you share with them the hope of the gospel of Jesus Christ? The only one who won't fail them. Because he's placed those people in your life for the reason of you sharing the gospel with them. Jesus, I pray that you guide us to you right now. Lord, help